Okay, now we're going to talk about the last suggested method for finishing your tree trunk. We've done two methods with barking, one that's lineal, one that's little patches of tissue or Kleenex. We've done the molded one, which you can partly see on this, which is where you line it from the front. You trace all the lines on your tree trunk on your shaping pad, so that you're going to trace every line on the front, and then you're going to turn your tree trunk over and you can see the lines. You may not be able to see those because of the glare, but you can see those, and then you push them back out to the front from the back. And what that does is it gives you the texture of the tree on the trunk. So like this section is done that way also. Then you'll notice right here there are a couple of pieces that have been cut out and applied. This is the last method that we're going to do. So with this trunk, what you would have done originally was you would cut it out including the branches. Then you are going to color all of your edges. You're going to turn it over and glue it. When your glue is dry, you're going to turn it back over and shape the trunk. And then you are going to wire it. Mine is not wired because we're just using this for demo purposes, but all of these trees have to be cut, colored, shaped, and wired. Now what we're going to do with this one, in order to gain more texture on your tree, I've already cut out two sections here, and I've turned them over and shaped them from the back. And then what we're going to do is glue these back down. So when you look at your tree, you're going to be able to see that there is more texture to the tree. I've also shaped all of these pieces. If you notice, there is shaping on here. So I have turned them over and I've traced my lines on the front, then turned them over on the back and pushed them out. I have also taken my edge shaping tool and I have gone on the edge. If you have never used one of these before, you take the curved edge and you place it along the edge of your paper and you push and move the tool. And what happens is it rolls the edge over so that when you put it back down, it's not sticking straight out. It will roll and come back down to touch your print. So I've already cut and colored and shaped all of these, and what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to use silicone on this because for me, I'd have silicone everywhere. If you're good at silicone and can use little dabby doozies and keep it off your stuff, that's fine. If you can't do that, don't use it, because once it gets on your print, you won't be able to get it off. It's really hard. So what I'm doing is I have some fast tack glue here, and I'm going to take this piece that I shaped, and it runs along the outside edge of my tree. So I'm just going to tap it down so that the glue touches the tree. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the second piece. So we're just going to put a little bit of fast tack glue down the center of that. Make sure that you get it in the edges so that your end pieces stay where they're supposed to be. And then I'm going to turn this one over, and it's going to snug right up against the first piece that I put down right here. And then this is a way to get a little bit more volume in your tree. If I can get it to stick, there we go. We're going to get a little more volume in your tree. Besides just the shaping, it's going to do a couple of things. You're going to see the edges of your pieces will stand apart a little bit, and it'll make your bark look thicker and heavier. So I have two pieces that are here, and you can see the edges of these. It's okay if you have a little bit of a gap. That's part of what it is. If you roll your edges, they'll come together pretty well, and you can just tap it down and hold it for a second. So now there's one more edge piece here, and this whole section of the tree would be done. You could cut it apart in the individual little pieces, but these are so tiny that I don't know how you'd ever keep up with them. I tried that, didn't like it. It's worse than a jigsaw puzzle. So if you take chunks or sections of the tree and cut them apart, it's a much more efficient way. And if you notice, you can see there's a lot of tree trunk. There's a lot of indentations. It looks more realistic than just a flat tree does. And that's our last way.